This is Randy from BibleBuyingGuide.com, and I am here with the guy who's responsible for most of all of us, our Bible addictions, Klaus Krogh from 2K Denmark. He has designed so many Bibles and typefaces for everything, including Bibles. And so I just wanted to talk to him about Bible design and about typeface design. So, Klaus Krogh, could you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you do?
Yes, thank you very much, Randy, and thank you very much for having me. Yes, my name is Klaus Krogh. A little difficult to pronounce. I started doing typefaces when I was very young. It's always had this fascination for these abstract shapes that can be put together to create wonderful words that can keep everything what's important or difficult or even sacred. So my relationship to letters has always been the holy message that it's our mission to take care of and present in the best way. So this love for the letter forms and the shapes and the wonderful words that they can create and how that can be used in any service. That's so important for me, and that's what drives this ambition. I was employed in the Norwegian Bible Society for 7 years, and I made hymn books and I made a lot of Bibles. I made my first claim to fame when I had a Bible in 3 different sizes, change spacing between letters and words in the different sizes. That's how you create readable Bibles, but doing it from a small screen with only codes and green letters on a black screen. And so you didn't see anything. What were you? That was my first claim to fame. I had these 3 different sizes, all of them very, very readable. So that's, but my wife is a very talented graphic designer in her own right. And we decided to move back to Denmark and start this company. And we called it Krogh, so our surname.
Mm-hmm.
That was very, very nice until I started exporting to the US, because then suddenly it was the Two Crooks. Pronounced in America. And we couldn't make Bibles with a company name with Two Crooks. So we had to change it again to 2K Denmark and stayed that way.
No. That's hilarious. So you design for pretty much most of the Bible publishers, correct?
Oh yes, we have customers in, I think it's 46 countries, and we do Bible design and typesetting, for instance, for Chinese Bibles in China. But we actually do typesetting for China, and we do typesetting for India and Australia. We have, of course, a very solid base in Europe with all the European Bible societies and the professional publishing houses. Nice. But that said, our biggest market is the US. In the US, and in the US we talk to absolutely everybody, and I don't know of any Bible publisher that don't know our name at least. I mean, right. we do work with everybody, and we are so proud and humble to be able to. I mean, for us, it's so important to first of all look at the translation. So, what does this? What were the ambitions from the translation committee doing this? What audience does it appeal to? How can we try to make a link between these ambitions, because the Bible text, but also the ambitions from the translator, and give an interface to the readers so that they can commit reading the Bible text in the way that it was laid out by the translators, and of course given to us from above.
Excellent. So you design typefaces and layouts. Which do you do more?
Well, we actually do 200 Bibles a year.
Wow.
In typesetting. So that's the major part, by far the part, and we enjoy that very, very much. And so that's. But if I could just take you through the different stages that we work on. So we do typeface design linked to a certain translation. That's what we've done 7 times with a comfort print typefaces, but we've done that numerous of times. So, and our biggest, so we do other typefaces, but really the peak of our ambition is doing the most beautiful and most readable and most economic Bible possible. And that's where we sort of that's where we put the biggest effort. That's where we are most happy if we have a Bible typeface commissioned. And we are doing a few more of our own, so that they're going to be in public sales. I mean, typeface like Bible Serif and Bible Slab and Bible Sang, you can buy, you can publish your own Bibles using that. We don't need to be a part of the design and typesetting. And there are publishing houses that's purchasing Bible typefaces that are in sale. And then we have the corporate typefaces that are bought fully by companies to represent, for instance, the NIV or KJV or whatever it might be. So, but we are in the process now of renewing our set of public typefaces that can be bought by anyone, and so to give a more artistic possibilities in actually creating Bible. I mean, looking at a Bible and being excited about the interface you're looking at, being excited about the pages you're about to read, can only be a positive thing in how you perceive the actual message that the thing carries.
So how do you approach a Bible design? When a company contacts you and say, we want you to design this Bible, what do you do? How does that work?
My wife and I, when we started the company in 1987, so we are 33 years old, or 34 years old. We agreed that we want to be a very, very small company. And why? Because we are going to do, for every assignment we're going to do our very best to make it perfect. So there's no excuse not to be perfect. And instead of being a very, very small company, we became the company of the very best customers instead. So we have Oxford, we have Cambridge, we have Harvard, we have MIT as customers. So all the impossible customers to get, we have gotten because of that attitude, and that's the same attitude and more when somebody asks us to do a Bible design. I mean, every time it's new, every time it's a new challenge, it's a new consideration on how can we actually achieve to make this very Bible we're working on right now the best it can. We never copy ourselves. We always try to impose something new. That's always, yes, we get inspired by the Bibles we have done. Yes, we know when a customer is trying to pursue an aim or make a series and so on, we try to accommodate that. But basically, it's new every time. It's new every time we're asked to do a Bible. So what do we do? That was the question. We try to find out the individuality of the project. So who is the publishing house? What translation? What audience? What extra material? What price range? Totally, because that's important as well. Because we don't, our ambitions are not only to make, we don't make unreadable Bibles. And we try to make them as readable as ever possible. That's the first goal. The second goal is to make the Bible a pleasant interface. That means that it's well done, sort of handcrafted. You might say handcrafted typography. Whenever we do a typeset of a page for a design, we probably make 23 different ones. There's so many things, but we can space the letters differently. We can make different lettings on the lines. We can space the word spaces differently, and it's not good enough until it's perfect. Maybe so. If you look at a lot of Bibles, you can actually tell whether we typeset it or not by the share. So when we talk about a page, we would talk about pattern and color. And pattern and color are created by the way that all the letters are spaced and the words are spaced and the line matching. So when I went to university, I knew 2,000 typefaces by heart. And the way I differentiated them was not by the speciality. So I knew that a Baskerville G had this speciality. No, I looked at the color of the page and the pattern in the typesetting. That's how I differentiate type pages from the others. So that's how we work. Of course, we're down in the very minute details. We are down in how we treat each and every letter, how these letters become letterscapes or words letterscapes, and how these relate to each other, and how the line relates to each other. And all these distances are crucial to the way the final result appears. So first readability, then and create an interface. The second side of this interface is, of course, that it's a pleasant design. That it will represent something that you align to design-wise to lead you into reading more, because it's a pleasant reading experience. It creates a deep reading experience. That's something to do not only with the handcrafted typography, but also with the design choices we make, the width of the column, the width of the margins. Do we add decorations? Is there anything special? Do we want to provoke a little bit? Do we want to change everything a little bit? Yes, we do it all the time. So even making a traditional KJV, we would try to impose something new, although this has been published in 1611. We insist that we can add a little bit more to make it even better. I never told you that this. So we do 4 things actually. We make type design, we make design of the book, and that was the design part I just talked about. Then we make typesetting, and that's a lot of converting text databases into a rational way of typesetting, and we use a lot of data technique and programming to do that. So it's not, taking one word at a time and try to build a Bible from that. We actually try to be rational in the way that we treat the data background to make it appear exactly the way we want it to be. Actually, we never compromise on a design idea because it's more difficult to typeset. We do the design, and then we just have to make a rational way to do the typesetting. And the 4th thing we do is we create concepts, just like the Art of Life Bible that we spent 4.5 years doing, or whatever kind of, and that's all to make a better presentation. So we really believe that it's so important that more people read more in their Bibles, that we struggle all the time to find ways to present that. So these 4 things, that's what we do: type design, Bible, book design, typesetting, and concept development.
No.
That's what.
When you're doing typesetting, how does line matching, how is that involved with that typesetting?
By the way, I was the first one imposing line matching, and that was in the Bibles I made in the start 80s, 81 or 82, on this little black screen with the green letters. I actually managed to calculate the way to make line matching already before you could see it on the screen. Yeah. So I can't say I invented line matching, because some of the very best LED settings had line matching as well. But I maybe it's because every time I look at something, there's a question in my head: how could you actually improve this? Yeah. How could you get a little bit, make it a little bit better? And looking at a Bible not line matched, that's easy to see that it can be improved a lot.
Yeah, it really is.
So that's an easy one. The difficult one technically was to actually achieve it. But when we got better programs and we got what you see is what you get, screens and so on, presentation, it was of course easier. But they made line matching in LED as well. The very best Bibles are line matched, but I think I was the first one actually, bending the arm of the data technique to make the first line match.
I appreciate that.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. So I noticed every time I pick up a 2K Denmark design, I never see a page with one word on it. You go through the trouble to make sure that all the lines end in the correct place so that you don't have,
Yeah.
just a little bit on one word, or you don't have one word as a end of a verse. How do you do that? How difficult is that?
We think it is important, one, and we think it is important because of the readers. We are actually sort of the advocates of the reader in this sense, and I don't think we had made this quality Bible unless we have insisted that the readers should have the best possible experience. And we are profoundly European
Yeah.
in the way we look at typography. You might even say German almost. so yeah, we're Lutherans like most Germans as well. But so the Scandinavian idea is you find beauty in function. You find beauty in function. So if you create a functional interface, then it automatically becomes beautiful. And that we follow all the typographical rules. And I'll come back to how we do it. Only sort of the ambition behind it is important. So we use, and so doing a Bible typography, there's a lot of rules. I know all the rules since Gutenberg started doing the printed Bibles, but the rules are not important because the rules only flag a problem. So if you got a rule because there's underneath there's a problem. And in many Bible translations, you have the translation committee setting rules on how it should be displayed. And that's a very good idea. And thank you very much. They took the effort and thought about the interface, but they did it as a translation committee, not as designers, not as typographers. So actually, you should look at all the rules set by the translation committee and say, thank you very much. You marked up the problem, but the rules will create, because we know what's possible when you start doing high-class typography. We have so many more ways to differentiate text from each other and so on and so forth. So it's from that angle we labor so hard to make the interface, the book you actually see, be the most comfortable for the reader to read. And that's following, for instance, that you don't end up, you don't start a paragraph as the last line on the page. You don't end a paragraph with the last line on top of another page, and so on and so forth. And the way we do this is that we make a design, we write a program to accommodate this design. We pour all the text, all the 1,500 pages into on the pages, and then you could actually print that. That's when our labor starts. Then we take each and every page, and on each and every page, we use our abilities to make that as beautiful as it can be. But when you look at a 2K typesetting, you're looking at 1,500 little pieces of art.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, that's the work we put into it, and that's why you might be able to tell the difference whether we did both the design and the typesetting.
Right.
Often enough, we love when people ask us to make a design, and we do that, but we'd much rather do both the design and the typesetting because then we know that all this effort is all the way to the reader.
How long does it take to develop that layout, that design? Like, for example, I know right now you're working on designs that are coming out next year. How much of that time is your work?
What you're talking about, that make me say, well, it depends actually a little. You might be able to create a very, very nice reading Bible, and that would take anything from 3 to 5 days, going back and forth, not working all the time. It's important that you do a lot of drafts and look at them, print them, leave them for a day, go back to them, and look at them to see how can we actually improve this. What should we change here? So that's the process. And if you're doing a highly complicated Bible, like for instance the Thompson Chain Reference Bible, and then it's like 3 or 4 weeks. Also because we are so making a great Bible is rather complicated. You have to rethink and rethink to get there. So and the most complicated ones take a long time. So.
I'm looking forward to seeing that Thompson in print. So, what comes first when you go to the page? The Bible text, the references, the footnotes. What goes on the page first? How does it all fit together?
Yeah, but always the Bible text first. So we actually prefer having. So when we do Bible typefaces, we recommend doing 8 different typefaces. So there's the general typeface that you will find. So the serif typeface that will have italic, and both of those will be in semi-bold. That's 4. But also creating a sans serif, an italic, and both of those in semi-bold, and you will have 8 typefaces then. And that's a full family. That's what you need to make Bibles. Why? Well, because often it's nice to have the subheadings, the verse numbers, the chapter numbers in another typeface than the actual Bible text. Because, as you know, what's given to us is not the subheadings, it's not the chapter and verse numbers. We were given the Bible text, and sort of marking that in a different typeface, just to always remind the reader what is actually given and what is added. Important.
So what's some of your favorite types of Bibles to design?
Oh, that's difficult. I mean, what are your favorite kids?
Yeah, people ask me the same sort of questions. I'm like, I can't choose.
That's well, I can't. We are so happy and we are so grateful and we are so humble to be asked to do any Bible, because we know what that entails. We know what one Bible can change in a person's life. So to make any Bible as good as ever possible, that overshines any luxury Bible we ever did. On the other hand, we did a lot of them. I was asked to make the official present for the Pope's visit to Norway. So I created a Bible, 1 copy for him. Wow. It's in the library in the Vatican. But we were asked to make the wedding present for the King of the Netherlands when he was married to an Argentine woman, and we made a Spanish and a Dutch Bible, and that was in 2002. So that the only 2 copies in the Royal Castle in the Netherlands. So that's nice to do, but we were asked to make a typeface for the most sold Bible edition. That's the King James Ruby edition from Cambridge University Press. That only existed as a lead setting from 1880, 90 or something like that. It was completely worn out. So they said, well, we want to keep on publishing this book. It's the most sold book in the world. Ruby edition, Cambridge KJV. And they said, but we, being British, we want the same text on every spread as the lead setting. And that's impossible. Well, we made it possible by actually designing a typeface that accommodate making exactly the same text on every spread as the lead set version from 150 years ago.
Oh my goodness.
That's typographic archaeology.
That's amazing. So listen, we've got a Bible here.
This is that Art of Life Bible that you worked on. And did you have what were some of the things you had to consider to add art to the sides of a Bible, to put all these pictures and spacing in?
Thank you. Very good. So we're in the business of having people reading more in the Bible. And And from that ambition, I thought, well, what will make people read more than the Bible? Well, if they could flip a page and then find an illustration and being caught into the caption of the illustration, they might just read places in the Bible that they never thought they would read.
Right.
So this is actually representing, and of course, it's obvious. A spread like that is one of my favorites. So you see, you get actually almost the scent and the feel of the heat from the Holy Land together with reading the Bible. You can actually you use more of your senses when you read that. And if you put a face now, that can be discussed, but we actually put 150 faces in the Bible. These are all old photographs from the middle of the 1800s, so 150-year-old photos, faces of people living in that area, and we allocated these faces to historical persons. Now I know that this is not the person we're talking about, but on the other hand, and please correct me, but when you read it and you see a face and you read about this person and you suddenly have a closer relationship to the stories you read, you suddenly visualize yourself among these people maybe, or you at least have a more personal relationship to what else is just a name. Now suddenly it's an image and you are drawn closer to the text. Well, no, we're not saying that the actual person looked anything like that drawing, but it actually helps people getting closer into the Bible and hopefully reading more.
Right.
And that's 4.5 years and a lot of money well spent. If I can have people reading more in a Bible like the story of the Out of Life Bible. So that's our ambition. That's what we are aiming at.
That's a beautiful Bible. Beautiful design. Are you working on any other projects that you are allowed to tell us about?
Yes, I think I can tell you that Cambridge University, the ones with the Ruby edition, are in the process of creating a wonder of the Bible. As you all know, in 1763, John Baskerville was the head of Cambridge University Press, and he published the Folio Bible, creating a typeface of his own, the Baskerville typeface, creating I think the first center color reference, and in a folio form, a huge Bible. So that was in 1763. In 1860s, Doré made his famous Bible illustrations, and as a homage to those two, we are creating a high luxury Bible together with the Cambridge University Press. It's our concept that it's so much in their tradition and style, and that's due to come later this year. It's a huge Bible, and one thing we found, a newly designed Baskerville typeface that's beautiful. It's huge and really can carry the page, and I found a first print of the Doré back from 170 years ago, a first print. And why is that important? Yes, because it was actually wood carvings in end wood, not on the side, but in end wood. With a stylus, they made this one wonderful illustration, and they printed it by putting ink on the wood and taking away this on the surface and only printing what was carved out. So it was line art, so made like lines. Every time that it's been reproduced since, it's been restored, so it's been turned into little dots, and it completely blurred the images that was so beautiful 170 years ago. Well, we found a way by scanning them in 2,400 dpi, or 1,000 times more detailed than it should be, and then turned these scans into lines again. So it's printed line art for the first time in 170 years. All the illustrations. This is going to be a wonderful Bible. We've never seen before. It's going to be very, very pricey, at least for the calf-skinned ones, and big, but there will be others as well. But I'm looking forward to see that one.
See why.
I like Doré's art. That's going to be beautiful. It sounds beautiful. So, how can our viewers learn more about what you do and about how to get work from you, how to
Yeah.
contract you for work?
Well, actually, I have joined into a cooperation together with the Museum of the Bible in Washington, D.C. I'm doing a live show the 27th of October, I think it is, Lunch and Learn, where I talk about what we do, and especially the type design, because in the afternoon there's a launch of a book on the 7 typeface family, comfort print families. So there's a book of 200 pages, tells the story of how I got inspired to do these 7 different typefaces, and you know, there's a lot of anecdotal things. You've probably seen some of the videos where I run around in St. Andrews and stuff, and yeah, that's a story to all of them. And the inspiration, I hope people will find interesting how we got inspired by a tablet outside a synagogue from all zero by doing the ASB typeface and so on. But they're all in that book, and that's been published in Washington the 27th of October. But I'm coming back because I think just in the beginning of December, the main event in the museum would be that I do 4 talks about readability and what happens in the reading brain and how to design, and also a functional typography where you try to tell people what they're about to read before they start reading it, and by the design and so on and so forth. So there'll be a full prolonged weekend of talks, and we're also talking about establishing a society of Bible handcrafts for people to join and to be informed about the work that we do and a lot of other people do to actually keep alive all the tradition and the handcraft of making beautiful Bibles.
And this will be in December?
Yeah, I think the first week in December, yeah, which is the 2nd to the 4th or something like that.
Museum of the Bible?
Museum of the Bible, Washington, D.C., first weekend of December. I'm sure it's going to be marketed and so on and so forth.
Well, I hope to see you there. I'm going to try to make it. And I'm going to have you sign my copy of the book. Okay, so is there anything else you want to tell our viewers before I let you go?
I follow most pages on the social media and stuff. And I really enjoy when people comment, even if it's something I'm not. Only praises, but comments in general. I am so grateful to receive. Everybody is welcome to go to our website, which is 2kdenmark.com, and there's a mail address, and I'll guarantee you I'll answer every mail I get there. So if you have comments, you have good ideas, if there's something you see you struggle with reading Bibles, some of ours or any Bible, I'd love to hear about that. You see, that's what inspires me the most, is if I can define a problem, I'll be sure to find a solution. But defining the problem is actually more difficult than finding the solution, I find. So do be in contact. Let's be friends on Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever you use, and don't hold back. Comment everything. Even if you say, well, this I particularly don't like, why did you do that? And I mean, I love to hear the comments anyhow.
Excellent. One more thing. You make a magazine. Now, is that something everyone can subscribe to?
No, not at the moment. I have actually the last issue right here. Not that we planned it, but this is the magazine 2K Stories. It's all about the field around theology, Bible translation, Bible typography, illustrative art, and so on. So we try to have people write articles in this, and we do write quite a few of them ourselves as well. It's during the COVID 1.5 year, we've started actually sending to all our clients and more people as well. I struggle to see to find a way to make it general available. But if there's a need, we might be able to present it in a digital way that everybody can come and download it from the website or something like that.
And
You're right. Somebody would like. But I think we have an agreement that you actually presented.
Yeah, you've given me 10 copies to give away. So we're going to give away 10 copies to our viewers. So comment down below. It has to be US only. I apologize for that, but I can get in trouble if it's outside the US because of all the different laws everywhere. So just comment down below, and then I will draw 10 names, and then I'll contact you and we'll go from there.
Yeah, very good. Thank you very much for doing that. I'm happy that the work we do will be shared as widely as possible. And if anybody thinks it's a good idea that it's become more general available, I will find a way to do that digitally. I think I myself, I'm not a printed magazine, so that's why.
Yeah.
So I would print one if only for myself.
Me too.
So you would want to get the digital.
Well, I do need to let you go. I appreciate the work you do in the Bible community, in the Bible design field, in the typefaces. I love your typefaces. I love your designs. I appreciate everything you do in Bible design. So thank you for being with us today. Appreciate it very much. And I hope to see you at the Museum of the Bible.
I hope so too. And thank you very much, both of you. Thank you for inviting me. Bye-bye.